Good evening, parents. Good evening. It is 5:31. Our meeting was scheduled for 5:30, so I am going to get started in an effort to respect your time. My name is Miss Grimes, and I am the school counselor at Harlan Community Academy this year, servicing the 9th through 12th grade students. I would like to welcome you this evening to our 9th through 11th grade Parent One Track meeting, where this will be an opportunity for us to collaborate and share very specific and important information for you to assist us in being able to assist your students in navigating through the CPS graduation requirements, so that they have successful outcomes and are prepared to graduate at the end of their 4 years. I'm going to begin with the mission, vision, and core values of Harlan Community Academy. Our mission statement is to empower every student to achieve more. Our vision statement is to change the game of school through support, opportunities, and instruction. Our core values is that we will always demonstrate Falcon pride. P for perseverance, we keep working until we're successful. R, respect, we treat others the way we want to be treated. I, integrity, we do what's right. D, decorum, we act in decency and order. And E, excellence, we are capable of doing more, so aim high. And I wanted to take an opportunity to open our discussion this evening with our mission, vision, and core values, because these are the things that drive everything that we do around the school. And so I think that it's important for you to have an understanding so that the conversations that take place at home can reflect and mirror the discussions and expectations that we have at school. So our senior support staff includes our school principal, Dr. Jones, our assistant principal, Mrs. Jones, school business manager, Mr. Little, myself, who is the school counselor, and we also have a college and career coach, Ms. Smith. So it's just important that you have names, so that when things arise and maybe you need to contact the school, you know exactly who it is that you need to reach out to. So by the end of tonight's meeting, it is my hope that you as the parents understand the CPS graduation requirements, understand the difference between a credit and non-credit bearing graduation requirement, have a complete understanding of learn, plan, succeed, and concrete post-secondary plan expectations, and understand post-secondary pathway options. So when each of you all made a decision to send your child to high school, it is my understanding that I'm sure the expectation is that you want to see your child be successful and graduate in 4 years. And so we are here tonight because we too, as a school community, want to see your child be successful and finish strong. And we do understand that in order for that to happen, we have to collaborate as a school community and as parents. And it is very important that you have the necessary information that you need to be able to support our efforts during the day, in the evening, at home. So the title of tonight's meeting is On Track Meeting. So maybe some of you all have the question about what is on track. So students are considered to be on track for graduation once they have earned all of their credit and non-credit bearing graduation requirements each school year. CPS requires that each student that graduates from a CPS high school has 24 credits to be eligible and considered for graduation. So this is a breakdown that I'd like to share with you so that you have an opportunity to kind of see visually how students are able to earn credits. When students enter high school in ninth grade, they have an opportunity to earn 7 total credits for the school year. Semester 1 will earn them 3.5 credits, and they can earn an additional 3.5 credits for semester 2. Semester 1 is the beginning of the school year from August up until December, around the Christmas break mark. And then semester 2 begins when we return from Christmas break up until the end of the school year. Excuse me, up until the end of the school year in June. So those 2 semesters allow students to earn 3.5 credits, which gives them the total of 7 credits for the year. In addition to those 7 credits, they have 9 credit bearing requirements. So in ninth grade, students will take health and a service learning project. Moving to 10th grade, 14 credits is the expectation for total credits earned at the end of your 10th grade year. Semester 1 and 2, again, 3.5 credits, and the 9 credit bearing requirements are driver's education and the U.S. Constitution. So although students take the Constitution in elementary school, it is very important to note that that requirement stands again in high school as well. For 11th grade students, they should have 21 credits, semester 1 and semester 2, both earning 3.5 credits. And the 9 credit bearing requirements are financial education, a civic service learning project, and the SAT. This says SAT, but CPS has just switched the state mandated exam. And so this year, students will be taking the ACT exam. 12th grade students, 28 credits, again, 3.5 credits each semester. And then the final 9 credit bearing requirements in your senior year are completing a financial aid application, which is known as FAFSA, and then establishing a concrete post-secondary plan where students are expected to provide evidence that they are certain of what they're going to do after high school and have prepared an avenue or pathway for them to be able to transition successfully into that area. And we'll talk a little bit about that as the presentation proceeds. But these are the expectations at every grade level of what a student should earn and should have, and how those credits are assigned. So what is the difference between credit and non-credit bearing requirements? So for credit bearing, students who earn a D or better in a grade or course on their course schedule have the ability to earn a half a credit for each of those classes. And so that is how the credits are earned to accumulate the 24 credits that are required for graduation. So essentially, for every course that a student passes, they are eligible to earn a half of credit. For the non-credit bearing requirements, that is a unit of coursework that is embedded in one of the classes. So ideally, we'll use a ninth grade student when they enter. Students are taking PE1, their ninth grade physical education class, but embedded in the PE coursework is a unit of health. So although they are going to earn credit for the PE class, the unit of health that is embedded is also a non-credit bearing requirement. It is also required for graduation, but credit is not awarded for that unit of instruction. Students earn a pass or fail, and then they satisfy the non-credit bearing requirement through that passing grade. And then those are the same for coursework such as driver's ed, the unit for Constitution, and then there's a financial literacy one as well. But all of those non-credit bearing requirements, are all embedded into an actual class that they have that does award credit, but the unit of instruction within that class is the non-credit bearing part, and the students are responsible for passing that. So, although we are talking about credits and grades, I need to impress upon you that attendance is equally as important. We have a school-wide expectation of 90% attendance, which means that as a school community, we would like to end the year in June with an average attendance rate of 90% for all of our students. Our current data indicates that at the end of the fourth week of school this year, we are averaging 87.42%. Our ninth grade students have an attendance rate of 92.27%, 10th grade 83.39%, 11th grade 86.92%, and 12th grade 87.37%, which gives us our average of 87%. So if we look at that data as of today, yes, that looks like we're on track to meet our 90% expectation. But please understand that as the year progresses, as the weather changes, as other factors get incorporated into the school year, it affects the attendance rate. So we are sending this information or sharing this information with you today in hopes that we have your support in ensuring that your students are getting to school every day that they are able to come to school and that they are arriving on time. Our expectation is that students are arriving by 8:30, no later than 8:30, so that they have time to go to their locker and get to class and seated at 8:45, because that is what time the first period class starts. The doors of the school open at 8:15, so students have an opportunity to enter the building as early as 8:15. They have an opportunity to eat breakfast before they go to class. And so, again, we are strongly just soliciting your support as parents. We do understand that some students have other responsibilities in terms of ensuring the younger siblings get to school on time, or they're responsible for taking the students to school. We do also understand that some of our students are responsible for waking themselves up because parents have to be to work earlier than students have to be at school. But we're just sharing this information, and we're sharing this expectation in hopes that you will support us in our efforts of trying to obtain the 90% attendance rate. I do want to share that we take very specific measures in identifying students who are demonstrating attendance issues. We have a home visit team that actually comes out to homes to visit students and parents for those students who are not showing up to school. And so we don't want that to be the case for the majority of our students. And so, again, just asking for your support in demonstrating or modeling some time management skills with your students, having those discussions about how important it is for them to get to school, and that be your expectation just as well as it is our expectation here at the school. So, again, parent support equals student success. So this is just another opportunity to share some data of some of the goals that we have for your students here at Harlan. So one of our goals is that 30% of our students have a 3.0 GPA or higher, then 90% of our freshman class in the year on track, having all of their credits. So that means that every freshman should end the school year with 7 total credits. 80% of our students in the year, 80% of our sophomores, in the school year on track with 14 credits. The students have an attendance rate of 80%, and that 80% of our students are in the blue or green, meaning that they are passing all of their classes with A's and B's. So at the end of the 2022-2023 school year, our data for semester GPA, we ended with 30.3%. So we were slightly over our goal, and we are pleased about that. At the end of the 2023-24 school year, we had a slight increase of 33.6%, and that we are currently at 58.9%. And although that looks good, this is still just the going into the 5th week of school. But we definitely would love to keep the traction that we have now. And again, we're sharing this information just in hopes that the conversations that you all have at home kind of resemble the information that we're sharing. And so that students know that you're aware of the expectations that we have at Harlan for your student, and that you can share that those are your expectations as well. For freshmen on track, 90%, 2022-2023 school year. We ended with 67%, and then the 2023-2024 school year, we ended with 82%. So we had a nice percentage increase there, and we're very pleased about that. And so currently now we're at 41.9%, but we do know that based off the work that we do here in the building, those numbers will increase. And again, just soliciting your support as well. For sophomore on track, 80% is the goal. 22-23 school year, we ended with 60%. Last school year, we ended with 82%. What our data shows currently is that we're at 56.7%. And for attendance, 80% goal. 2022-23 school year, 80.9%. School year 23-24 last year, 88.3%. And then our current attendance rate now is 88.7%. For our stoplight status, meaning all students earning B's or better, we ended the 22-23 school year with 61%. We ended last school year 83%. And then our current data indicates we're at 57.9%. And so I'm also taking this opportunity to share this data with you because we want you to be able to share the good news of the good things that are happening here at Harlan. We have worked very hard over the past 3 years with some very specific interventions in place to allow this data to move in the way that it is moving. And we will hope that you would be willing to share with your friends and your neighbors about the good things that are happening here at Harlan, and for them to use that as an opportunity if they have students that they would like to consider to students that are attending high school, that we would be a viable option for them. Now, we talked about credits, but there are some instances where not all students are successful all of the time. And so the question is, what happens if a student fails a class? So if your child fails a class, they are expected to recover that class the following semester. So if a student was to fail their English 1 class, let's just say if they failed their class at the end of last school year, then the expectation would have been that they had to enroll in summer school so that they could recover that particular course. If a student fails a class at the end of the first semester, which is the fall semester, the expectation is that they enroll in evening school or Saturday school that following semester. So at this current moment, evening school is not really an option because our current bell schedule does not align with most of the high schools that have evening school options. And so although we get out at 4:08, excuse me, most of the other schools in their school day around 3 o'clock or 3:30, which means our students wouldn't have an opportunity to travel and get to the evening school site just due to our bell schedule. So we have an opportunity this year where we're going to implement our online credit recovery option, where any student that is failing a class has an option to take the class online. So this is a benefit because we do know that some students work. Some students are responsible for babysitting younger siblings after school or maybe on the weekend. And so we're trying to find solutions where students can still have an opportunity to earn the credit recovery coursework, but still have some control and flexibility over their time. So we are going to allow our students to log into an online platform, and they will have an opportunity to take the class that they potentially failed in an effort to earn the credit that they need to recover in that class. And so tomorrow, there will be a Google form that comes out as we go through the presentation. You all will have an opportunity to look at your child's actual academic data to see where they are in terms of being on track, and what classes they may need to recover. And then there will be a Google form that will be sent out to all the parents for you all to give consent to your support in your child enrolling in the online credit recovery program. Because although the students enroll in the credit recovery program, a lot of the work that has to happen needs to be done on the student's own time. There will be some support pieces put in place on the school level, but we also need the parents to kind of monitor that those students are still continuing to work on their own time, because they have to meet certain benchmarks in order to successfully complete the course within the time frame that the class is being offered. Learn, Plan, Succeed. So this is a graduation requirement that was implemented around 2020. CPS indicated that all students that graduate from a CPS high school have to have a concrete post-secondary plan when they graduate. And CPS identified these pathways, the ones that are bolded, that students have an option to choose for, to identify what they want to do after high school. So essentially, Learn, Plan, Succeed is a requirement for a student to be able to articulate effectively what they want to do after high school. So some students want to go to college, other students may just want to work, some students want to learn a trade, some people want to join the military. And so these are just some viable options of what students can consider when they graduate. And it is our responsibility, once their pathway has been identified, that we work with them to identify different opportunities and experiences to allow them to access ways to see what those actual pathways look like, so that they can make an educated and informed decision. So let's see. Okay. Well, this information is going to have to be, sent in an email as well tomorrow with the other information that is coming. I thought that I would be able to access the link to allow you to see. But what Harlan has done we have taken those different pathways and identified what those pathways should look like for a student at every grade level, should that be the actual pathway that they would be considering after graduation. So a freshman student, a sophomore student, a junior, or a senior who is considering college or the military or a trade, what opportunities and what experiences can we as a school provide those students to ensure that they have access to gaining information and being able to see and understand what those different pathways look like, so that when they have to make their final choice and they have to actually commit to what they have identified as a pathway, they have had enough opportunity and enough exposure to those different areas to be able to make an informed decision. And again, I do apologize for not being able to pull the document up, but I promise you that tomorrow morning, when this, because this PowerPoint document will be shared with you also, that this information will be included with that as well. So what does your current graduation plan? Oh, wait. Sorry. Please pardon my pause. I'm trying to get some technical support to see if I can actually show you the document. Okay, I'm sorry. So that didn't work, but I again, I assure you that I will share the document with you all tomorrow. So in your email, you should have received a copy of your child's current graduation plan. Um, that information was sent to you today, just in an effort so that it wouldn't get lost. So if you don't have it, if you can check your email now, you should have something that shows your child's current graduation plan. Now, unfortunately, I can't pull up the document here on the screen, so that my plan was for us to go through it together. But on that document, there is identifying information for your child. It's going to show how many credits your child has attempted and how many credits your child has actually earned. There's a list of all of the graduation requirements. So for the classes that the student has already attempted to take, it will show if the student actually earned credit in that class. Every class that a student has taken that they were successful in for both semester 1 and semester 2, you should see a 1.0 to indicate that they earned 1 full credit in that class. If you see a class where a student only earned a 0.5 credit, then that means that a student was not successful in one of the semesters of that particular class. You should also see that your child has a credit color green, yellow, or red. So if your child is in the green, that means they're good to go. Everything is on track. If a child is in the yellow, that means that they are missing some credits. And if the child is in the red, they need some intentional or intensive support to ensure that they are recovering those credits to be on track. And so this information again was shared because previously students' academic information was mostly just shared with the student, and it didn't always make it home to the parent. So we want to ensure that you have the information so that you are able to have the specific conversations that you want to have with your student about what they're doing, and that if you need to reach out to myself or anyone else at the school who you feel may be able to provide you the support that you may need, you can do that. But we want to make sure that you have a copy of the document and that you're able to review that information with your student as well in terms of where they are in track of graduation. We currently have about 34 students within our building who are going to need to participate in the credit recovery program. So this particular piece of information was shared with you so that you have a concrete way to identify if your student is one of those students who needs to participate in the credit recovery. And we are just asking again for your support because the issue becomes either the parent wasn't aware, the student knew, but the information didn't transfer to the student, or for whatever other reason, the parent was not aware. So we want to make sure that you know what your child's status is, and that if your child is going to participate in credit recovery, well, not if, because if they're missing credits, they must. So when your child participates in credit recovery, that we have your support and that you are aware that this is a necessity for your child to be able to graduate during the year that they are scheduled to graduate. So that ends my presentation. Again, tomorrow morning, you will have a copy of this entire slideshow. I will also send out to you the Google form for credit recovery. You will have an opportunity to take this particular document that was emailed with you and have a conversation with your student this evening. Feel free to tell any of them to check in with me tomorrow, but if they don't, oh no, I'm sorry, not tomorrow, on Monday. Tomorrow's no school. But if they don't, I definitely have a plan to check in with those 34 students. And then if you have any other questions, comments, or concerns regarding credit recovery, regarding anything else that was shared with you, this is my email. You're welcome to call me at the school, but if you send an email, I check that more frequently, and you are probably more likely to get a quicker response contacting me via email. I thank you all very much for taking time out of your schedule this evening to join us tonight. I hope that you found this information useful and informative, and I look forward to hearing from anybody who may have some questions for me. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your evening.